In 1972, Edward Lorenz, mathematician and meteorologist, asked a question. Does the flap of a butterfly's wings in Brazil set off a tornado in Texas? Well, that's a metaphor. A butterfly's wings could never cause a tornado. With this analogy, Edward Lorenz meant that an insignificant event like a butterfly's flapping its wings may, in theory, cause a chain reaction that will result in the formation of a hurricane somewhere else. This theory is called the butterfly effect, and this is a theory we can all relate to. It's about the power of small actions to create significant changes. Let me tell you a story. At 42 years old, Tom's life was a complete mess. He carried an extra 50 pounds, which made climbing the stairs a breathless chore. He also smoked cigarettes with his morning coffee, fast food for lunch, a 6-pack of beer in the evening to unwind, and another cigarette before bed. Stress from his job as a project manager kept him on edge, and his unhealthy lifestyle had become both his comfort and support. And no matter how hard he tried, he was just stuck in this pattern and couldn't get out. But one evening, something different caught his attention. As Tom mindlessly flipped through the channels after dinner, an ad popped up. It was a study being conducted by the researchers Megan Alton and Ken Chang of Macquarie University, and it was about improving physical fitness. It would run for 2 months and included a free gym membership. At first, Tom dismissed it and almost kept flipping, but something in him paused. He couldn't remember the last time he felt truly healthy. He'd been trying to ignore his doctor's warnings about high blood pressure and his rising cholesterol levels, but it was getting harder to brush off. The next day, Tom filled out the application for the study online, and luckily, the next week, he got accepted. The study focused on exercise programs that were tailored according to participants' needs and included classes, free weights, and resistance training. The participants were required to set fitness goals for themselves and asked to exercise self-control to meet these goals, like denying themselves junk food, sticking to a healthy diet, and following the exercise program. The study was very hard in the beginning because it asked participants to record every day they worked out and write down their mental state at the time and what it is they were thinking about. The idea of working out every day for 2 months felt impossible for Tom, but by the end of the 4th week, he was used to it. At the end of the study, Tom was really happy. He had dropped 15 pounds and his energy levels were the highest in years. But what was far more surprising is that he actually stopped smoking completely. He still enjoyed an occasional beer, but the 6-pack habit was gone. And because he was now cooking his own meals, he started saving money since he wasn't eating out at expensive restaurants all the time. Even his stress levels, which once felt overwhelming, had reduced because exercise became his new way to unwind after a long day. This is crazy because somehow this one habit of going to the gym not only helped his physical fitness, which makes sense, but it also transformed other areas of his life without him intentionally doing anything. So yes, Tom is a fictional character, but this study was actually done. There's also other studies that replicated these findings across people of different ages and socioeconomic classes, all of them just focusing on implementing a single behavior and making that into a habit that had positive ripple effects throughout their entire lives. Now, this behavior is like the butterfly flapping its wings. And I didn't tell you the exacting part yet. The exact behavior, which in this case was physical fitness, doesn't even have to be that. Like, there's nothing actually special about a fitness program, as other studies were able to show the same results, even when the behavior was completely different, like financial monitoring, developing a study habit, and even cleaning things. So let's talk about the mystery here. Why does it work? You see, a lot of things that you want to do or don't want to do in life depend on self-control. For example, if you're trying to quit your phone addiction, no one is forcing you to spend 8 hours a day on your phone. You just don't have the self-control to get off your phone. But I have good news for you. Researchers have a hypothesis that self-control is more like a muscle. You can strengthen it and improve it with repeated practice. Megan Alton and Ken Chang, the researchers from the previous study, were interested in investigating this self-control muscle. They found out that if you can pick a habit, for example, this physical fitness program, and you're able to practice it over and over again, this will be like training your self-control muscle and strengthening it over time. Then with better self-control in general, it's going to impact your whole life and make you more disciplined in everything. This study and others have shown evidence to support this hypothesis. So it is okay if you don't have self-discipline and self-control, you can actually learn to do so. And the natural question you're going to ask now is, what behavior triggers this butterfly effect? I got you. Most of us want to transform our lives, but for that to happen, we need to adopt certain positive habits. Fundamentally speaking, habits play a key role in our day-to-day life, but not all habits are created equal. Some have a much bigger impact than others. Charles Duhigg, the author of the book The Power of Habits, calls them keystone habits. So what's a keystone habit? To put it simply, a keystone habit is a single habit that allows for other habits in your life to be sustained. It's not much different from a normal habit. It's just that it has more potential to transform your life. That's because keystone habits spark a chain reaction that can have domino effect and cause other habits to take hold. That was like the physical fitness we were talking about earlier. But since we know a keystone habit can be many different things, how do you choose one for yourself? So I kind of did some research on this and looked at some papers, and I realized that some people would mention certain things like making their bed first thing in the morning, taking a cold shower, journaling, and things like that. But there was no specific criteria for choosing a keystone habit because it's very individualized and involves a lot of experimentation. For example, LeBron James. I'm sure you guys know LeBron James. He's a professional basketball player who is widely considered one of the greatest players of all time. His keystone habit, which he formed with his coach many years ago, is sleeping at least 8 to 10 hours every day. LeBron says that sleeping is the best way for him to re-energize and rest. And when he sleeps, he's able to come up with great ideas, which ultimately lead to his great achievements. Sleep is a key that makes all his habits fall in place. In my life, I also notice that when I get good sleep, everything becomes easier. I'm more motivated to do things, I have tons of energy, better focus, and more self-control. In turn, this makes doing all my other habits a piece of cake. Working on my business, super easy. Going to the gym, barely an inconvenience. But if I don't get optimal sleep, I can see a noticeable difference. I don't have motivation, my energy is lower, I don't have much willpower, and everything else becomes a chore. That's why I try to get the best sleep possible every single night, because this one habit has the biggest impact on my day. So if you're looking to find a keystone habit for yourself, what I would recommend is just introspecting first and figuring out what you think matches your life. Like, what are the things that you do that you feel a lot better afterwards? And then also I would recommend just thinking about what time of day it matters to you most. I think a good keystone habit is something relatively short and you can do it daily. The other thing that I think is very important and most people neglect after finding their keystone habits is tracking their progress. Now, it doesn't matter what you want to track. Perhaps you track your gym progress, maybe you track your financial situation and where you spend your money, or you could even log in how you spend every hour of your day. The point of tracking habits is that you get actual objective data. Often, we're not really aware of how much we do or don't do certain things, but having visible data can help us become more aware of that. Let me give you an example of how this works. Let's say you track where you spend your money. For one whole month, you log every single purchase you make. Then you look at the data. If you're a smoker, you might realize that you smoke way more than you thought. You usually buy a $5 pack of cigarettes here and there, so it doesn't seem like you spend that much money. But once you add all those purchases up, you might find that you actually spend over $100 per month. You see, our brains are not good at tracking everything, and we often forget to include something. In this case, a few packs of cigarettes. That's why logging things is so beneficial. It frees our brain space and allows us to have an objective look at what we are doing or not doing. So start tracking your activities and you'll find why you've been fooling yourself, and you'll be more likely to improve your situation. Transforming your life isn't as difficult as you might have previously thought. You just need to find that one habit and other habits will follow. Thank you for watching. Kindly consider supporting this channel by subscribing. See you next time.